everybody. It's Mike.
And this is Ray. And this is the Know Nothings podcast episode
72.
72 big ones.
We're going to do 100 of these?
We're going to do 100 before we get serious.
Yeah, we're going to get serious. By the time we have 100, I think that we'll have a place to do it instead of doing it in my house like this, because this sucks.
Yeah, and
there's no room. I'm like getting choked by this thing.
When we get 100, we're getting some sponsors, and we're taking over.
I'm gonna get another good camera, and then really get into like the camera part too.
And no more. And we're gonna get on a schedule too. We do like right now we're in the mode of let's do a podcast, and let's not do one for 6 weeks, and then we'll do 2 in 1 week, and then we don't do one for 3 weeks,
and then we'll say, hey. Come over and do the podcast. Do you want to ride a motorcycle instead? Or do you want to play golf? And then we'll just leave and go do that.
Yeah.
We should be like recording that and like putting it as like an episode of something, playing terrible golf or putting a camera on a motorcycle.
Riding bikes was a better choice than podcasting that day. It was pretty weather, and I hadn't ridden in forever. Hell, I had to go get a battery so we could ride.
We had to put the battery in. It was a good ride. We were riding down through Shudrint Way and then past and then over Iris and then we were just riding down a road and boom, it turns into a dirt road.
Yeah, and then there's no GPS where you can't really get your way out of there.
Funny part about that ride was we pulled up to we're in the middle of nowhere, right? And we pull up to a stop sign, T road, and some lady pulls up behind us. And just sits there.
Out of nowhere.
And we're like, got our helmets up, and we're like looking at our phones.
And she just sits there.
And I look at her, I'm like, go around. We're in the middle of nowhere.
Like a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah.
She pulls up out of nowhere. There's nobody out there. Here comes this chick behind us. And we're on our phones, literally with the mask
trying to show each other, like, hey, where are we going?
I'm doing this. And she's just sitting behind our motor. We're in think of nowhere, Kansas or nowhere, Louisiana at a four-way stop.
There isn't a house in sight.
Only thousands of acres around you, and she just sits in her little Corolla.
Yeah,
right? I'm like, this cannot be real life.
Go around, and then she's like, and she goes around. I'm like, what are you thinking? We're just sitting here.
Well, the stereotypes exist for a reason. Sometimes,
What's that stereotype?
I'm just saying, some people have said that women can't drive.
Oh,
I'm not saying that. But I've heard that on the internet before.
I've heard that, and I've also heard Asians.
Yep, I have heard, yeah.
But here's the funny thing about Asians. They're always, motorcycle racing, and they're badass. So...
Yeah, because...
And hey, Tokyo Drift. I mean, come on now. But we can't be just boxing everybody into these boxes.
Well, no. Stereotypes can exist for a reason without everyone falling into the stereotype. The other stereotype about Asians is what? They're super laser focused.
Yeah.
They're great. So when they get ready to play baseball or ready to ride bikes or ready to drive cars, they do it real good.
Do you know what my favorite stereotype is?
Oh, this is great. We're going to get banned.
No. You know what my favorite stereotype is?
Let me just...
it's Sony. It's Sony.
Sony.
That's my favorite stereo.
Oh, go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good dad joke. I heard it. That's a good dad joke. Hey,
by the way, real quick. We got Thomas's engineering.
Thomas's engineering force day. Say hi, Thomas. No one can see you.
Oh, I hit you in the face. Get over there. He is.
Oh, yeah. So I heard this great dad.
Sorry, I hit you in the face. I was like, "Come here, pal."
I heard another great dad joke yesterday. I just have to share it while it's on the top of my mind, and you just gave that great dad joke.
Right.
Okay. If storks bring babies, storks get all the babies here, which clearly we know that's how babies get here is through storks, right?
Right.
So if the storks bring the baby, what prevents babies from getting here? What bird would prevent baby from getting here?
No clue.
Yeah, you have a clue. Just think about it. Think it through.
Okay.
Think it through.
Storks?
Yep. Storks bring the babies. What stops the babies from getting here?
A cockatoo?
That's pretty good, but no, it's a swallow.
Is it an English swallow or an African swallow?
Any swallow eliminates the children. Anyway,
it could grip it by the husk.
So we'll tell that joke before we get into the fun stuff that's going on. So you saw the autonomous cars are live yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Tesla stock up 7%.
Yep.
You did know the stocks, not the stocks, but the cars would go live yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, have you heard the rumor about the car? Or I guess
No.
the Elon haters.
No.
They're saying it's not. They're like, it's not autonomous driving. That's not happening. Elon can't do that. It's been proven that these are drivers in India.
No, and
they're saying that. I know. But
There's no way.
But
my brother has a Tesla and it drives itself.
That's right. But the lunatics are saying that there's remote drivers in India and Pakistan driving the self-driving
That's
car.
insane.
Of course it's insane. They're insane.
Oh my gosh. No, it's anything to just shit on Elon. Like anything. Like the article I saw was not that, because that's wild.
That's what
I saw one that was like Tesla taxis, what are they called?
Robotaxis.
Tesla robotaxis are getting fined all day long because of traffic violations, and it's like, I'm not sure about that.
That doesn't sound true at all.
It doesn't sound true at all. It's just anything they can. Well, first of all, I have this thing, and like when I turn on Microsoft Edge, okay, like when I'm using that piece of crap.
Was that made? That must have been made in the 90s, right? Microsoft Edge.
Well, they call it Edge now. I think it was Explorer.
Oh, because like if you were like in the early 2000s when everything was Edge and Extreme, like
Extreme,
if you made a bag of candy, it was like
Extreme
Sour Patch Gummies,
Extreme flavor.
Microsoft. What'd you call
Edge.
it? Edge. Yeah, Microsoft Edge.
So like all the news that it feeds you is just like this super left wing whatever. And I just go through it and I just make comments all day on it. And then like a couple weeks later, I'll go back and look and see if anybody said anything to my comments. But what I've realized is I'm the only person looking at these because all the comments are bots.
Yeah.
And all the articles are written by some AI that swings left. So it's like stuff like anything that, Starlink blew up another multi-million-dollar blah blah blah. And then
it did blow. They did have one blow up.
They did, but it's like then it's like all the time. Anything to like. Of course, they're going to blow a few of them up.
Oh yeah, the articles.
I mean, with everything is just all against Elon all the time. It's just shitting on him.
You would think. I thought you were going to see the tides of that change. Since him and Trump had their breakup.
Yeah.
And it was an intense breakup.
Are they still broken up?
Oh, well, Elon tried to backpedal a little bit. He tried to be like, hey,
I like my government funding.
A bridge too far. I might have went, but now today breaking was, and this is the thing, but they have a taped conversation with Netanyahu of Israel, yeah, and Elon where they were, and man, I hope it's AI, but it doesn't sound like it. Sounds like it's legit, and because it was a legitimate news source, if there's any such thing as a legitimate news source.
I don't think there is.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
On either side.
But they had this conversation, so it's Netanyahu going, so, yeah, you can't actually be the president of the United States. And Elon was like, well, I mean, not technically I can't, but I mean, I'm going to be, and they had this whole conversation about how Elon's going to take over this is pre the election, how Elon's going to fund and be able to take over the government and get what he wanted, which I really do think was somewhat his plan, because originally he was saying, hey, I'm totally cool with you taking away the EV credits, right?
Yeah.
But then when push come to shove, he wasn't cool with it at all. That's what caused the massive break. Like, that's what caused the schism.
Yeah.
Is not giving the EV credits. Of course, I think he was under a tremendous amount of pressure because everybody decided to shit on him. Everybody went crazy like he had now no one even talks about Elon anymore, right? Like as soon as you
these AI things that I get all day long about. Oh, his cars are terrible.
If you're going to a source that's talking about Elon, or if you're going to post about Elon, but I'm saying in general, for 3 weeks it dominated the news cycle.
Well, now we got something new to talk about, and that's like all the
World War III.
World War III.
Yeah. Which is looming. I don't know what to make of this right now. So I don't know if. Okay. I voted for Trump. I didn't like Trump for a long time. I was a Trump hater. Then I was like, well, I like this direction. I like this team he's assembling, right? I like this team he's assembling, and I'm kind of on board with all these things. So I voted for Trump.
Well, we kind of knew the team would split up.
We knew the team would split up. That was fine. And man, if he's doing what he says, that's great. But so he's, we dropped the bombs, we got the nuclear sites, but now they're saying. Now the report that's coming out most recent is, well, they got the nuclear sites, but they can be back up into full capacity in like 2 months. But I don't know if that's propaganda either. You don't. It's like so. I'm just. I wanted to jump on. So when he was going to go into Iran, I was so pissed at Israel because Israel just drags us into these never-ending sand wars, and no one can convince me otherwise. Like they have been dragging us into sand wars for 25 years, and that's not what he ran on. It's not what we voted on. But if we can just go in and get rid of their nuclear capacity and get out, no citizens harmed, no soldiers harmed, no boots on the ground. Iran and Israel have a ceasefire and there's peace there. If you get peace in the Middle East, that's a Nobel peace. There hasn't been peace in the Middle East since before Jesus, right? Like there is no such thing.
They've been fighting over that thing. Here, let me piece together for you, just by the bits of information that I've seen on the news, what I feel like this whole thing is, and I could be 100% wrong.
Okay? You give me your thoughts, and I'll tell you.
I'm giving you 100. Okay, so Israel shoots rockets into Iran.
Yeah, they started it for sure.
They started it.
Mm-hmm. But Iran's bad too.
Then Iran shoots rockets into them.
Yeah, we're no friend of Iran.
Okay, so then we step in and we bomb their nuclear capability sites, right?
That's correct, because they're enriching uranium up to 60%, and it shouldn't be. Right. It can't get to 90. You can build nuclear weapons.
Right. Okay. So we kind of had to step in and do that, and then say, okay, everybody be cool, and then they did a ceasefire.
Yes. If that's what transpires, if that's actually what takes place. Man, that's great.
Because I can't. I don't like when Trump goes, now there's a ceasefire. I don't really believe it 100% until it happens.
I don't believe it just because Trump says it. Because look, Trump has good policies, and Trump has been right more than he's been wrong. He plays the long game, but he says outlandish shit, which has always been my thing. That I don't like. I mean, and not just like outlandish shit, like I say outlandish shit.
Here's also something that I have seen is for the past 30 years, we've been saying Iran is about to have nuclear capability. For the last 30 years. And every single president that has been in the past 20 years has said, Iran, we cannot allow Iran. We're talking about Obama. We're talking about Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton said, "I will bomb Iran." You know, like they all said.
To Bush, but
Biden none of them said it,
but none of them did a damn thing.
None of them did anything about it.
So Trump is the first one that did a damn thing.
So who's the guy though? Who's the guy above all these people? That are they making the decisions, or there is somebody above them? Netanyahu.
It's Israel. Okay. Israel has the Mossad. You know what the Mossad is, right? Like, it's their CIA that controls our CIA.
Right.
The Mossad is responsible for the JFK assassination. They're responsible for the MLK assassination. Allegedly. They're responsible for, I'm going to say allegedly, the Mossad is behind Jeffrey Epstein, and I'm going to look right in the camera when I say this so you know that I'm saying this, I mean this. The Mossad is behind Jeffrey Epstein, and that is why no files have been released, because they're hiding this shit because Israel's name is all over those files. All right, so anyway, so the Mossad is controlling all of this.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I think, does Iran...
Where did you hear that?
Where did I hear that?
Hey, the Georgia State Department just texted me. They said they'll be here in 5 minutes.
Oh, my God, we're in trouble. Where did I hear that?
No, it's at of motor vehicles. Enforcement penalties. Oh, this is some bullshit.
I heard it on the Know Nothings podcast from Ray Creasy. I've been looking at this shit for like 30 years. I've been like, since at least like 2002. I've been, so I don't know. Nobody knows everything.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, I haven't heard any of that because I don't dig. I'm not into the news.
Well, our CIA is controlled by the Mossad. Anybody who wants to is welcome to fact check me. The Mossad is the Mossad is involved with all the things I just listed, and you can find a variety of information that'll lead you in a variety of sources that's going to lead you directly to that. It's kind of like well known in conspiracy circles that the Mossad controls a lot of this shit. Yeah. It's all about federal. Okay, let's take it a step further though. Every single country that we're told since birth is our enemy is a country that will not join the Federal Reserve.
Right.
Okay? Iran won't do the Federal Reserve. China's not interested in the Federal Reserve.
Putin.
Russia's not the Federal. Why has Russia been our enemy? Why has China been our enemy since I've been born? Russia was an ally. Russia fought with us in World War II. And then one day, we're just like, oh, you got to hate Russia. Oh, you got to hate this place, a third world country. And then it's all this Western propaganda, and then you see it, and you're like, that doesn't sound true at all. Like, Those people,
because they won't get on board.
Those people are just like you and me. All the people of Iran, the people of China, the people of Russia, the people of America. We're not the problem. It's these goddamn bloated billionaire fucks. They're the problems. If you were in Iran, just around people, and they, not their government, but their citizens, you would just be playing guitar and smoking cigarettes and drinking tequila and laughing with them.
Right.
That's what we would be doing because they're humans just like us. But we're like conditioned to hate these entire just like they are. Just like they are with us.
It's propaganda from when we're young to hate. To be like, oh, they do this, and we shouldn't like those people. They're different too, by the way.
Well, but if you go back before the Islamists, if you're looking right now, the Iranian people don't want anything to do with their government. They're dancing in the streets they're rejoicing and celebrating Trump. Now, why isn't the left talking about that, right? Let's talk about all the millions of citizens that are saying, this is great, you could get this corrupt government out of here. Mm-hmm. Like, that would be amazing. In 1979 in Iran, the girls are walking around in bikinis. They're dancing in nightclubs. They're smoking cigarettes and having fun and living life like you're supposed like you would live life as a free human, right? You're listening to the music you want to listen to. You can listen to, at that time, I guess it would have been disco and hard rock and metal, but you weren't, now that's not allowed. You can't go to Iran and listen to Slayer or listen to Kodak Black, at all.
Who's Kodak Black?
Well, he's a rapper, but I'm not saying, I'm just saying, anything secular.
I thought it was like maybe some new cool camera, like a Kodak Black.
I don't think they even make cameras.
Kodak makes stuff? I don't know. I just have Sony cameras, but Kodak Black. Try the new Kodak Black. It has 24 megapixels.
Do you really not know who Kodak Black is?
I don't.
You didn't know who Charleston White is either.
No.
This is insane.
You want to know, it's 60% of my day is looking at guitars and online.
Well, I know.
And then the rest is me working.
But I know we're old men, but I couldn't tell you.
No, I have shut out. I have shut out
the world.
The world, and I live a wonderful life.
Okay, Elliott Smith.
Yeah.
I'm in love with the girl.
But he didn't even. He didn't. You knew that Charleston White and Island Boy had a boxing match, right? Did you know that or no? You missed it. Oh my God.
I just don't have time for that. I have time for me and work.
You work from home, and
I know. I have free computer screens.
You have more free time than anybody in my entire circle. Anybody that I know, you have more free time than any of them. You don't have any children that are small. You work from home. You don't have to have a second job. You make plenty of money. What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean you don't have time? Elaborate.
Because my work... I do work from home,
it's good
but
that
I
you don't have
sit
time.
here constantly staring at. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. So it's a lot of me just watching YouTube videos and I play a lot of guitar and I play guitar and I do things for me. I don't try to look at all this bullshit.
I think you're
online.
right. I think that's a better path. You're not susceptible to this brain rot me and the rest of the world have to.
I don't want to deal with it. I've always said I'll just deal with it. I'll deal with things when they hit my front door. That's why I have pew pews and boom booms and food that you just don't get on the internet really to ever know what's happening. No, and I hate TikTok because it's a bunch of bullshit. I don't like getting everything everybody says on TikTok I've heard a million times, and I don't need to hear it again, and it drives me nuts. So it's good for young people that have never heard the same fucking thing over and over again.
You just said but Kodak Black and Charleston White are two of the most famous people in the world, and you said you'd never even seen who they are.
I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what they look like.
So how could you be hearing the same thing over and over if people that have been put on?
Because I guess I just my algorithm on TikTok is
there's no one's
terrible.
Algorithm I don't think that doesn't run into that. I don't know one Kodak Black song. But I know what he looks like.
Never heard of Kodak Black, and he's never been on my TikTok. And also when I go on TikTok, I'm on it for maybe
10 seconds,
a minute.
Yeah.
A minute. Yeah. And then I'm like, ugh. And I also just have a bunch of family on it. So I just look at my family and my friends' stuff and then I'm out.
Oh yeah, you go to friends. You go to friends instead of the For You page.
If I go to that For You page, then it's flat earthers are wrong again. Look at this building plan where they built this bridge and it shows the horizon. And then it's another guy's like, oh, look, round earthers, the earth's flat. Check out that. And I'm just like, oh, God, I can't deal with this bullshit
Let me devil's
anymore.
advocate that. Like take like a current event like World War III, right?
Okay.
Or take what's going on right now.
That's bullshit.
Okay, but let's say say there's 500 people, and let's say there's 100 valid people doing information, sharing information together to get to the best possible, to get to the real answer.
Can you explain to me how Iran starts World War III with no nuclear weapons?
No, Iran wouldn't be starting World War III.
Would it be Russia? Because Iran and Russia are kind of buddies for a while.
Well, Russia's already said they'll give Iran nuclear weapons. They said this today, and Trump tweeted out, I heard through the grapevine that the ex-president of Russia, I forget his name, forgive me.
Medvedev?
Yeah, that's it. Sounds right. The ex-president of Russia has used the N-word, nuclear, and said he's going to give, which is...
I hate that clickbait stuff, too. That sucks.
What?
Like using the N-word and they mean nuclear.
That's Trump's thing. When Trump says the N-word, he means nuclear.
I hate that. That is so dumb.
Well,
I hate everything. I hate everything.
Why is it dumb?
Because... You know why it's dumb? Because they want you to click on it because it says N-word.
Well, he's trying to get you to read the rest of his tweet.
Yeah, right, and I don't want to.
It's about nuclear capability of Russia giving somebody weapons. Why would you not want to read the rest of that?
They're all on a phone somewhere in a back room going, okay, we need to talk about this World War III thing because all three of us are on the Epstein Island list.
Well, right. Right.
Let's make everybody upset about World War III.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying you don't want to know that you're not interested.
I don't believe that any of that's true.
You don't believe in nuclear weapons?
No, I believe in nuclear weapons. I've never seen one.
Well, so no, some people don't believe in nuclear weapons.
I've never seen one, but also
I haven't either. Some people don't believe in nuclear weapons. That's a real thing.
Well, I just dumb and believed in them. I guess maybe they're not.
There's a conspiracy around that too. Like that there's a whole group of people
I
that
just
are like,
don't think we get any information that is true. I think nothing is true. I'm one of these people that's like, I believe in nothing.
I know, because hear me out. You got to hear me out. Let me try to get it out. You're hearing me. I just need to try to get it out.
Get it out.
If you have the benefit of having regular citizens report thing is I would think everyone would lie to me in the world except you, Mike. So if you were saying something, I would think that's true. So the benefit of like real people trying to get to the bottom of stories is way better and far superior than CNN, ABC. Real people, real citizens trying to figure it out, trying to talk these things out, trying to figure out what the crux of it is. We get to the truth. We would have never known the truth, which right now we know the truth. We know that Israel started it, right?
I guess.
Well, Israel dropped bombs first. That's starting it, right?
Okay.
But the only reason, and then we attacked Iran's nuclear site, and then there was called a ceasefire, and then there wasn't. But you could, if there was not people reporting this, like regular citizens, this would be spun one way. The same propaganda that it was forever. Is that fair?
Yeah.
That is the beauty of it.
I can't stand all the mess that comes off of that.
Yeah, like you got to sort through. You have to sort through.
I also don't like to hear young people talk about things. That aggravates me too.
Why? Some young people are really smart and articulate.
Well, I'm not. I guess I'm not around smart.
I know. Most.
Or I don't see a lot of them on the internet.
Well, scroll till you find somebody Gen X or Boomer telling something the way you want to hear it.
I don't want to hear anything from.
But then you're into confirmation bias. Then you're like, I'm only going to get information from people who say things that I want to hear.
Well, I don't mean it like that because I don't really like. If we didn't have. Let's say we didn't have any
the
of
internet.
This. The internet.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's say we had newspapers.
Yeah. Oh my God, the lies would be fantastical.
Do you think the lies in the newspapers, when there were just newspapers, were lies?
100.
What percentage of lies
on the political front?
Yeah,
98% were lies.
98% were lies.
This is if you didn't have the internet, and if it was 1927 or 1987 right now, you would just get a newspaper headline that says. Trump gets Iran and Israel to agree to peace. There's freedom all across the Middle East. They were having a parade for Trump, and everybody go, "Oh, cool! There's a parade next week," and that would be the end of it. And once a month, the president would come out on ABC and say, "We're happy everything was successful. We're bringing everybody." And they'd give you some line, and which they still do, but now it's way more frequent, so you can keep up with what's a little bit true, a little bit not. The internet connects us to truth, to me, more than anything that's ever happened in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And I think AI will too, because AI is an extension of consciousness. So,
I guess I'm just really negative right now.
Yeah.
About it. Yeah.
I stay negative about things. Like I'm a cynical.
I'm pretty
bastard.
negative about AI too. No, I said, okay, so another Elon thing where you see an article where it says, like, Elon has to recalibrate his AI because it poked holes in what he believes in, or whatever.
Right.
And it's like, well, did he do that? Like, what is AI? Are the creators of AI going to be mad that the AI is smarter than them and comes up with things that they don't like? Yes. Well, it's just like owning a newspaper, or it's like you own a newspaper and you also own Ford Motor Company. And then all your Ford transmissions are going out in 2025. Are you going to report that? Are you going to say Fords are pieces of shit on your news? No.
But the AI, this is the beauty of AI to me, is AI's, even though they created it for their benefit.
I can't wait to die.
But it's going to scale so much bigger that it takes over. Because, like, okay, when you put into Grok, 2 months ago you put into Grok, who spreads the most misinformation on the internet? Grok, which is owned by Elon, and it came up Elon Musk. Now it does not do that anymore.
All right.
It does not do that. Now it says, well, that's a really loaded question. You know, there's a lot of people who put a lot of things out about a lot of and it gives you a little more back and forth information. But before people realized that, it just flat out said Elon Musk. That's who puts out the most information that's incorrect. And the reason he does is simple. Not because Elon's like a complete lying narcissist manipulator. Maybe he is. Maybe he ain't. I like him. But the reason...
I generally like him.
Yeah. But hear me out. If you put out 500 tweets a day, let's say if I was to tweet 500 things a day, or if we put out 500 videos a day, right, of informational content, and 10% of that was bullshit, that's 50 things a day that I'm just outright lying about. Right. So in a year, I've put out 1,600 pieces of bullshit.
Right.
So that's why, and Elon sometimes gets on ketamine and tweets 9,000 things like he does. Allegedly.
No, I think he said it.
I think he has a script for it, so I'm not giving it. And I generally...
What do you have a script for ketamine for? What's it for?
Probably to control his overactive mind, because his mind is way overactive. I imagine that would drive me crazy if I was like, oh yeah.
He probably takes it to be dumb for a while.
Yeah, let me think about imagine.
Just like God, I'm so smart. I'm thinking about stuff for like somebody poked this in my eye for an hour.
Well, imagine you're thinking about how to do.
I gotta not think about something.
Imagine thinking about how you're going to successfully launch Robotaxis worldwide and scale it across the globe. And then the other side of your brain is like, hey, you got to get a rocket to Mars tomorrow. And the other side of your brain's like, hey, don't forget that $100 million to the Republican PAC. And then it's a lot going on up there. And
well, he must love it.
Yeah, but I think, man, when he didn't get his way, that's one thing I'm going to say that turned me off about him. When he didn't get his way, he threw a big baby bitch fit.
Big fit.
Like for a 54-year-old man who's had everything, who's been a billionaire since he was like in his mid-20s.
Well, that's probably why he threw it.
Kind of a pussy. Bro.
Yeah.
You're kind of a pussy. Like you didn't get your way, and you're crying. And I still like Elon. I still like all the things he does, and I still think he's one of the smartest people out there. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to criticize somebody. Just like
right.
I generally like Trump, but he does some things that are wacky and bullshit. I'm going to question them, right? I just don't lick anybody's boots. I just cannot do it. Like Elon threw a big, massive baby fit, and then when they were just like, okay, get out of here, and they let him go. They let him go from Doge. That's what happened. Like Trump had enough.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Trump had enough.
Oh, he let him go.
Trump had been saying for a month.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, the inside circle was Trump was saying for a month, like, hey, I've had about this dude's like a little much for me. Like all the chainsawing and the hyperactivity and the memes and the overtweet, like. I like him. I like where his head is on saving money for the government, but it's time for him to go. He's got it set up. It's time. So Elon was wanting an extension. He was wanting to stick around, or he was wanting to at least be able to come back into the fold whenever he wanted. Mm-hmm. And Trump shut that down. Mm. And so they had their little press conference where Trump's like, "We thank Elon. We love him." And Elon was like, "Oh, thanks." And they were just lovey-dovey. The next day, Elon was when the big beautiful bill passed through Congress. Mm-hmm. Bro. And then it was the EV credits that had been there forever. Elon knew about it forever. And he goes nuclear on Twitter. It looked like a teenage girl who had drank 3 wine coolers after her boyfriend broke up with her. That's exactly it's exactly what it reminded me of. I was like, this is like you know how like remember in high school like how a girl's going through it, and like at the bonfire, like she has 3 bush lights and just like melts down, starts throwing shit in the fire, and hates everybody because of this. It's exactly what he just melted down on Twitter for like 3 hours straight. Yeah. Were you awake or on Twitter during that meltdown? So you were seeing
where with everything.
The barrage of
just the tweet.
Holy shit.
The Epstein.
That made me. And then like I thought, like when he went on stage with the chainsaw and all that, like, dude,
I thought that was kind of wild.
Okay,
I was like, that's cool, but maybe at a WWE thing.
Yes, okay. You're in the government. Like I'm like, hey, I'm all for fun and games. I love to joke and I love to fuck with people or whatever. But then there's sometimes when you have to be serious because like the situation calls for it, and that would be like if you're like, hey, we're being defrauded out of $1 billion, $700 billion or $1 trillion. The government's been stealing it from the taxpayers, and you've got on shades, and you're running around with a chainsaw, and it's just kind of goofy.
It's right out of Idiocracy. Like
out of Idiocracy.
I thought that he was just like trolling everybody from Idiocracy with that stuff.
The best
crazy
was the part of that movie when the guy's like the what is it, like his Secretary of Defense or whatever in Idiocracy. Remember, and he's like the dumbest guy.
The dumb guy.
But he's like, he's the smartest guy.
No, the one part is like, he's like, hey, he goes, this is the smartest guy on the planet right now. I'm not sure. And he goes, okay, what do we need to do to fix the crops? And he's like, put water on them. He goes, you've been putting stuff with electrolytes, but electrolytes are what they crave. And he's like, no, you got to put water in it. And the guy's like, from the toilet? And he's like, hey, I know better than that. Maybe I'm the smartest guy on the planet, not this guy. And it's from the toilet. I love that movie.
Like as if water only comes from the toilet. Where you shit, right? Like there's no. That's what some of it. Look, politics.
Oh God.
Politics really.
Have you ever seen that movie?
Which one?
Idiocracy.
Oh, you got to see it.
Man, just the first 15 minutes.
So there's a guy with like the IQ of Forrest Gump, right? Okay, so I'm just.
He's normal. He's the most normal guy on the planet.
He's not smart though. He's just a regular guy. He's like a C student, right? Just a regular dude. I won't say Forrest Gump, but let's say a C student.
Well, they say right in the beginning they show his test scores.
And he is now the smartest person on the planet because everybody else is in. So you got to think everybody else in government is like.
Well, below because he was cryogenically frozen, and the government program was
it kept getting dumber. The government kept getting dumber and dumber and dumber,
and
just like it's happening in real life.
Dumber. Then he wakes up, and they have like buildings that are half fallen over, and they've got big ropes tied between them. So then, one of the doctors is like, "What's up, Scro?" And he comes in like smoking a blunt, and he's like, "Hey, man, I looked at your chart, and your shit's fucked up." And you're kind of tarded. Yeah. And he's like, hey, man, it's cool. A lot of tards are living kick-ass lives. My ex-wife is tarded. She's a pilot now.
Yeah, so they were making. It's
really funny.
It's really good.
But this one guy goes to put these things. He's like at the hospital because he thinks something's wrong with him because he woke up in this weird time and he doesn't know that he like did that.
What was the year of that movie? What year was the movie supposed to be placed in? I can't remember. Was it like 21 something?
I'm not even gonna lie. I think it was like 1,000 years later.
Okay, yeah.
And it like there's also it's narrated by a narrator, so the narrator's like speech has become a mixture of street and valley girl and a series of grunts, So like everybody's like, hey, bro, like I was like, and he was just like, yeah. And everyone's like, yeah, so kill him.
So the people having those
they make no sense.
So the people having those type of conversations were like the cabinet of the U.S. government.
Yeah.
Because that's as smart as it got, right? Like anywhere in the world. So anyway, it's a great movie. But so we say all that to say
we got to watch it.
A lot of politics is very WWE, right? It's very performative.
It shouldn't be.
Like, I know, but if you
Trump was on WWE.
Yeah, he was beating up Vince McMahon.
Right.
If you look at it. The other day I was having like this epiphany. When you just really.
There's a microphone in that, so yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear you though.
Yeah, I hear you good.
Okay. Yeah, there's a microphone in there. You can just talk. You know how you ever just have moments of clarity when you just like know for sure this is a simulation, none of this can be real because it's just so ridiculous what's happening, or like what's going on around you. I was just having a moment like that. I can't remember what I was just watching and I was like, this is just ridiculous. Like whatever they were saying, I don't even remember, but I was like, this is just the most ridiculous, outlandish. Okay, I'll give you. I know what it was. It's the goddamn lieutenant governor from Texas. Have you seen his ass talking about the marijuana? Have you seen? Him?
Yeah.
You've seen the lieutenant governor with holding the.
Oh no, I haven't seen it, but I just know about the story and that
So
he vetoed it.
So the governor vetoed it, but the
it.
lieutenant governor really wanted the ban on THC, right? So he's going out to press conferences holding bags of gummies, and he's like, "Who wants this? You want to take this?" And he throws it out to like somebody in the press, like, "You want to take it and die? You want to die?" And then and he's like, he goes, "I guess we want the whole state of Texas stoned on marijuana." And I was like, "What the fuck is this? Who is this dork? Like, who is this absolute moron?" And he's the number 2 in charge of the second largest state in the union.
What that tells me is who is pulling his strings? Alcohol companies?
Oh yeah. So somebody goes,
who
hey.
Outlandishly would just be like, "You want to die from these gummies? God damn, get those!"
Oh, and he was saying shit. He goes, "No, we don't know." He said, "We don't know who's making them. They could be being made by the cartel." And I was like, "No, they can't be. They're packaged in a." He goes, "And we don't know what's in them." I'm like, "Yes, you do. There's an ingredient label required by law on the back of it that says these are the 6 ingredients that are in there. All of them are natural." He's up there screaming like he's preaching the gospel truth.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Saying everyone's gonna die. Everyone in Texas is stoned on marijuana. It was just like, what was that movie from the 60s? You remember Reefer Madness? Did you ever watch that?
Never watched.
You were never.
But I know what it's about.
Yeah. So Reefer Madness was like in the 60s. They made this propaganda film, but like in the guy's high, and he starts crying and he jumps off the balcony of his apartment to his death. And it was like all the scare tactics around, and all the Mexicans were going to come over from Mexico, and they were going to get all the white women high, and then they were going to rape all the white women, and then they were going to kill all the men because they were high on marijuana. That's what this guy.
Because that's what marijuana does when you.
So the lieutenant governor's doing that, and then so he never did a press conference about it because he'd get ate alive. But so then the governor. When the governor was getting barraged, he was getting millions of like comments, and people were calling him every day like, "What are y'all talking about? And what is your lieutenant governor talking about?" And then somebody in the press conference, the press was like, "Hey, I'm looking here, I'm seeing the number 1 sponsor of this anti-THC bill was Anheuser-Busch."
Yeah, whatever.
And he was like, did Anheuser-Busch give $300 million to lead up to? They're like, "There's lots of concerned citizens about. I'm sure they come from a variety of industries." I was like, "You're not missing. You're smart enough to get to this position. You're not so stupid you don't understand what they're asking."
Right.
The alcohol lobby that kills everyone, that destroys families and everything else that we just let
everything that guy said that marijuana does. It does it 3 times, 10 times worse.
Alcohol. actually does that, right?
Yeah.
And it just so happens that the largest beer manufacturer is trying to get the THC out of Texas. They're the number 1 sponsor of this bill. End of your campaign. You don't see what we're trying to connect here, sir?
Right.
But you got it. So people started making like clipping up his clips on TikTok and stuff. So he was like, "Does anybody want this bag?" And the people like, "Yo, hey, right here." It's crazy. So he literally threw it to the press. Like,
oh wow.
Just like when remember when Trump went to that?
I think it's ridiculous.
Where did Trump go when he was throwing paper towels? Who remembers? You remember that? Venezuela,
that was in Puerto
Rico.
These dudes
are in a.
Yeah, I think it was Puerto Rico.
They just had like a hurricane. Your whole fucking city's destroyed.
You need paper towels.
The president's over here, all-time quarterback, throwing paper towels out.
What? How do we get back to the normal simulation? I know there's a few of them probably, and we've skewed off into this one that is just wild. Well, it's wild. It blows my mind.
I really do believe. I really do believe that we're heading in the right direction. We're either heading in the right. We can either correct this and not have. And Russia doesn't backfill Iran with nuclear weapons, and China doesn't come behind Iran, and then we have to get our allies involved, and then we are in war. Because all right, this is what I've always thought about nuclear war. Who is stupid enough to be the first guy, right? You understand all the retaliation of nukes, how that's going to go down, right?
Well, I mean, it has to deal with the whole...
It's called mutually assured destruction.
Mutually assured destruction. So that's what I'm saying. It's mutually assured destruction. So even the most psychopathic, murderous, genocidal, crazy sons of bitches amongst us, right? No one's that crazy. Because if you launch a nuke, it's over for everybody. Like
everybody just starts launching.
If Iran throws a nuke anywhere near us, we're gonna send enough nukes to Iran's done.
Yeah, and surrounding.
Well, then Russia has more nukes than us now.
Oh yeah.
They have like 8,000. We have like 7,000. I mean, it's not exact numbers, but
it doesn't really matter that many.
Well, it kind of does because if
we
because if we just had like 500.
Well, if 7,000 hits them and 8,000 hits us, we're all dead.
We're all donezo.
And even after that, the nuclear fallout, nobody's gonna be able to eat anything. We're all gonna be irradiated to death.
Even if the billionaires that have bunkers, right? So how many of those are there really? Maybe what is there? 2,000 billionaires in the world? Maybe I think that's about it. It's 2 or 3. It's not very many billionaires. Obviously, it's a lot of money to acquire, right? So you got, and then of those billionaires, how many of them are building bunkers? I mean, we know Zuckerberg is.
How long do you want to live into that mess?
Exactly. Well, when you come out 2 years later,
like they start shooting nukes off, I'm gonna lean in. I'm gonna be standing out in the front yard, like, I'm ready to go to the next one.
Yeah, we're gonna repopulate with just Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and maybe they bring like 12 girls down with them. That's
a show I'd watch.
What's that? Oh,
the repopulation with those people.
Oh, with their supermodel
like
girlfriends?
What happens after that? Like it's like, hey, post-apocalyptic real television show with the offspring of those people.
They're love bunker. Well, they're geniuses, but I don't really know that like Bezos and Zuckerberg and Elon are like going to be surviving in the wild when you come out and it's like they're going to be right back in the bunker. So my point is like no one would. I think it's bullshit. No one would ever send a nuke. I don't think anyone is psychopathic enough. Kim Jong-un ain't, right? No. He's the craziest one I can think of, and he's not crazy enough to because he knows.
Well, we know they're not because nukes aren't real. I'm starting to. Are you starting to see
that? This is kind of the theory.
I'm starting to see that where they're like kind of like just to freak everybody out.
So I saw this.
What did we drop on Hiroshima and Nagasaki then?
Nuclear bomb. The atom bombs.
Yeah.
We said.
We
don't. But I mean, could have just been a series of a bunch of bombs. Or there's people saying. I guess the theory is more like, hey, maybe there's like a couple that actually work. Because it's so involved to do, right? No one's actually ever going to use one. And the theory is this. All the leaders have already got together and said, never happening, boys.
Yeah.
No matter how mad I get at Thomas, I can punch him, I can kick him, he can punch and kick me, I can stab him, I can shoot him, but I can't drop an atom bomb in his house, right? Like, and they just all kind of understand we'll use this for it's for scare attack, because if we're all scared,
but all the alien stuff, remember all the aliens, like if you believe the things that you hear, they always like shoot the rockets. So I think like if we actually fired them off, I think
maybe Superman will come and catch him in his net and swirl him around.
The UAPs will take them out. You know what I mean?
You remember that terrible Superman? Was it Superman 3 in the 80s?
Yeah.
You're old
Superman
enough.
4.
You must have. You're not old enough to have seen that, so you must have watched it like. Did you watch that Superman?
Yeah, I did.
Somebody must have given you a VHS when you were a little kid that was like, here, watch this 15-year-old video. This is Superman. It's great.
Not from the 80s?
87?
Yeah, 87.
Yeah. He was born in the 90s, though.
Yeah.
But but it was such a bad Superman. The special effects were so, but remember anyway, we've all seen it. So he catches all the nukes in a net and then swirls them around, launches them into the sun.
Into the sun.
Yeah.
And then Nuclear Man is born.
And then, I forgot that part of the plot. And I used to watch that all the time. My grandmother, she had a VHS with it recorded from like HBO, and I would watch Nuclear Man. That's right, Thomas. Freaking Nuclear Man. So, yeah, what if there is... So, I think they use it. They're going to use it as scare tactics. We might have a world war, but that doesn't mean we're going to have a nuclear war.
Right.
We're not... It's really just, and it's just really us, Russia, China, North Korea that can do real damage. The rest of them have like 10, 30, 27. So you could take out like a couple cities.
What about UK?
I don't know how many they have. That's a good question. But they don't have that many.
No.
I can guarantee you that. How many?
I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to let them worry me.
I'm not worried about it. I don't worry about anything. I like to understand what's going on. I like to watch the movie. We've had this discussion before,
I'm just
right?
Watching the movie.
I'm enjoying the simulation for what it is. I don't take any of this shit seriously. If somebody was to walk up right now and say, hey, Bigfoot's outside. He's got a nuclear bomb. He wants to bring it in here and work on it. And he's got a dragon in the car with him. I'd be like, oh, shit. Okay, let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens.
Let's look out the blinds at that for a second and see what's going on.
Literally nothing sounds unbelievable.
No.
Everything sounds believable.
It's completely believable because now they're using, stuff to bring back dire wolves and
they have 225. The UK has 225. So I'm saying everything sounds unbelievable and completely believable at the same time in this modern world. Like
it does.
You'd be like, that's absolute bullshit. And then you'd be like, well, I don't know. I mean, could be the government could.
Every time I see something that's just wild.
Did you see the newest big? And now with AI, now we really don't know what's real. Right?
Yeah, right.
This is really going to be and it's already getting more real. How's it going to look in 6 months, 12 months?
A year.
They're already being full. Like you could come out. I mean, we're not going to know what the hell is true. And even if we do, even if let's say I'm gonna give myself credit, even though I'll probably get duped, and everyone sitting here probably will at some point, right? But I'm gonna give myself credit to say that I have enough discernment that I can go and research again, and I'll double and triple research and try to make sure that this has got some level of validity to it. Even knowing that, you're gonna see one that just looks like, oh, that's a legit thing that's going on. What the hell? And it's just gonna be complete bullshit.
I think I'm gonna sell my house and go live on a sailboat somewhere.
Good luck selling your house right now. There's like 1.5 million more houses than buyers right now.
Yeah, but this is Ruston. Somebody will. The lady next door will buy this house full price just to rent it to some college kids.
You're in a beautiful spot because you have a house that would be most desirable in this market, like a starter home 3-2 that's reasonably priced that you could get without.
All these people want these houses on this street to rent to college kids.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
They're all these people that live here that get this mailbox money from all their real estate stuff. The three people, the three across the street here, the brick ones. Mm-hmm. I could call them. They buy my house tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
just to have another house on the block.
But then, so what do you? But here's the question: you sell your house now. What do you do? Because you don't want to go buy another house at 8%.
I'm buy a sailboat and live on it.
Oh, but yeah, if you can buy it for cat, you can live on your sailboat.
Yeah,
listen to Jimmy Buffett and wear your flip flops.
Yeah. Yeah, nuclear war. Let's take it on up to Iceland. Throw up the mainsail.
If I see the first nuclear bomb, just do anything you want to do. I'm telling you, you got I don't know how much time, somewhere between 1 and 150 days. Just go ball out. Like if the first one gets dropped,
what would you do?
What? Just whatever. Anything
what do you mean?
I want to do.
Well, tell me what specifically.
I don't know. I don't know. Like what would I like? What would be my end time?
What would be the one thing that you would do?
I know I'd quit paying bills. I know that for sure.
Well, hell yeah. Nobody pay any shit. I wouldn't pay shit.
I know I'd quit going to work.
You think if I stop paying my truck note, the repo man's coming for my truck?
The repo man's coming for my truck in the middle of a nucler bomb fall? I don't fucking think so.
He's not paying his bills either.
Yeah, he ain't paying his shit.
Nobody's paying shit.
He ain't going to work either.
I think we might have to hunker down.
I think
people will go nuts.
Dude, I've had almost 50 years of this.
No, I'm just saying, if the nuclear bombs are falling, you say you got 100 days before it affects you or you're dead.
I know.
People are going to be trying to break into people's house. Not my house, obviously.
I think honestly, if there were bombs going, I honestly think I would be upset sadistic, but I think my instinct would be to run into it.
Me too.
I don't want to prolong. I don't want to get
I don't want to survive in the wilds.
Prolonged exposure to nuclear fallout. I just want to run headfirst into it.
Dive right in. I'm sad that I wouldn't get to read all the books I haven't read yet. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Is there's 100 books right now that I would.
Do you know
what
I would? You know what I'd be most sad about?
Which one of these? Hand me this book right here. Hand me that book up there.
Ghost Pepper.
You see that book?
Oh, this one. Reason to Be.
Yeah. Look. This is my nephew's book right here. Put it on me. This is Reason to Be. I guess you can buy it anywhere by R.A. Hinkle.
Go pick it up. Amazon. Go pick Amazon.com.
Try to not get it on Amazon. I think he said. I think they don't pay anything. So just wherever you buy
get books.
It's called Reason to Be. R.A. Hinkle. So
can you get it on your Kindle?
Yeah, definitely.
Get it on your Kindle.
Well, that's Amazon, but yeah.
I think I think the thing I would be most sad about is I wouldn't get to see what happens next.
Right.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing that keeps anybody going, right? Is what happens next? That's why I say after a certain amount of years, you're kind of what does happen next? Right. That me and you have reached that point of life where like your kids are grown, everything's happened. You can kind of have what you want to a certain degree.
To a certain point.
Like you're not really, it's not like we have Ferraris and Lambos and whatever. But I mean,
I don't think I'd even want one of those here.
we can eat and drive what we want, that kind of thing. And your kids are older, and you just kind of seen a lot of the movie. I've seen it so much that some of it starts to look like reruns in the movie.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and you start going, you kind of still, but then you get all these little WWE plot lines that you like to follow. That's one thing I'd be sad about. Like, what happens? Who does repopulate it? What happens in 300 years? But then maybe we get to see that. Maybe because if that's what most people believe anyway. Everybody believes in some sort of either God, or it's a simulation, or it's Allah, or it's Jesus, or whatever it is. Everybody's believing that, or there's reincarnation. So we'll all maybe get to see.
Maybe it's a big game we're playing.
Maybe it'll be a lot more. It's definitely that.
It's definitely a game. It definitely is in a simulation.
I've
had things happen to me that it's simulation. And it's just stuff I can't say because, usually when it reveals itself, you're doing something really shitheadedness.
Well,
so, you can't really talk about
I had one last week, and that I'll share before we get done right now. Do I have time to share the one simulation?
We got 8 minutes.
Okay, cool.
7 minutes.
This would be perfect. So, this is when I knew for sure. I tell you all the time. Somebody has to prove to me it's not at this point. But anyway, I was like, my wife says, "Hey, can you run to the Dollar General and go get some batteries?" Normal simulation shit. Normal. Yep. Go get this. Pick up the cookies. Pick up the Coke. Be the person.
Yeah.
Do the shit. Listen to the music. So anyway, I'm gonna go get the batteries. Okay. Boom. Pull into Dollar General. One car in Dollar General. Right. Small town. That's pretty normal. One car in Dollar General, which is the employee in there. I was like, hell yeah. It's only me in there. One car. I open the door into Dollar General. I go inside. I know right where the batteries are because I go to the Dollar General almost every day. It's right by my house.
It's a mile from your house.
I live in a small town. That's where we go. So I walk straight to the batteries. Boom. Pick them up. Pick up the batteries. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm about to be out of this bitch. Walk around. Come around the corner. There are five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in line appeared out of nowhere. The first guy in line, he's got no less than $250 worth of shit at the Dollar General.
Oh, God, he's got the whole store.
And he wants cigarettes. And his first card gets declined. I was like, oh my God. I ended up in line. So I pull into the lot at around 8:05. I live 2 miles from the Dollar General. The 2 people in front of me were at least both 350 pounds, a couple. At least both 350 pounds. And they had picked up every sandwich in the freezer aisle. They had 4 baskets full of these bites. So remember, I pulled into an empty lot with no one in the building. I walk straight to the batteries. I come around, 5 people in line. Everybody looks like they went shopping for the apocalypse. I was in line for 35 minutes at the Dollar General. And while I'm standing there, I start freaking out. Dude, I start having I started having for real panic attacks because I was like, it was overwhelming. I was like, it was sensory overload. And I was like, and I started thinking too much. It's like, where the fuck did these people come from? Then I was like, whoa, Ray, you're going crazy. And then I was like, I'm not going crazy. I know what I know. And then the doors start opening. 3 people. It started looking like Walmart and all these people come. So then I'm like, oh my God, finally get through this 30-minute Dollar General line, buy my fucking batteries. I had to sit in my truck. I'm like, Thomas, I had to sit in my truck for about 3 minutes and just get my bearings together.
Oh my God.
I go outside with my batteries. Finally, after 35 minutes, walk outside. 0 cars in the parking lot. There's only one checkout in Dollar General. There were 5 people in front of me in line somehow out of nowhere. And while I was standing there for 30 minutes, I witnessed and watched 18 to 20 people come through the doors. I walked out the Dollar General, and the car that was originally there was gone. Therefore, there was no cars in the parking lot except my truck.
What in the world? That's so weird.
So how long were you there for, in total?
I was gone for 50 minutes from driving to walking straight to the battery, standing in line, driving. I got home. Adrian's like, "Oh my,
where have you been?
Where have you been?
It's a mile away."
She's like, "Are you?" Because I go to the Dollar General all the time. Usually that's about a 7-minute deal, right? You know where my house is, so
Ray done been abducted by aliens,
But-
and they put him in a simulation room in the UFO of a Dollar General and put that in his brain.
I came home. Well, then I sat in the parking lot for 5 minutes. I'm not shitting you. I don't know if I'm explaining this well enough to understand the freakery of this.
Oh no, I get it. That's friggin' weird.
This was fucking wild. I mean, my heart was racing because the people were everywhere. It was like I was getting claustrophobic from the people.
It's like going into a bar whenever it's like packed.
Hey, let me tell you,
empty building.
Let me tell you something real quick.
And then I left, and it was still an empty. When I left, I looked at the park. I was like, "What the fuck?"
I just got a text from Kylie that says running by DG after work.
Ain't no way. No fucking way. That's it, man. If you like,
what? There's proof. That's the proof.
You're in the city. I wish I could.
That's proof.
I get home. Look, hey, I got home. I'm flush, man. I'm like white flush. Agent's like, what the fuck have you been? What's going on? I was like, I went to Dollar General. I got your bag. I was like, I got to sit down for a minute, and then I start telling her what's going on. She's like, you're insane. I'm like, I'm not insane. Like you can like, I know I'm a lot of things. Like I'm just reporting here, right? Like everybody else has this kind of shit. They may have this kind of. Everybody has stuff like this that happens to them, and you don't realize it. Like sometimes, like okay, I'm right by Highway 80. I've noticed sometimes I'll sit in my house and there won't be I'll be in the house all day, right? And I'll hear like 2 cars throughout the day, and then I'll go out of my house and I'll come to my stop sign. And there's whoa, 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 cars everywhere you pull out. There's cars. It's like where?
I've noticed that too.
What? It's like
you show up somewhere and there's nobody there, and then all of a sudden it's like actors, like background actors, just start walking by and
you
stuff.
You activate yourself, and you take yourself from an NPC to a PC, right, to a playable character. You activate yourself into the simulation, and all these other NPCs come to create.
Not a single person has walked down this road today, but if all 3 of us walked out there for 5 minutes, there would at least be there'd be somebody walking. You'd be like, somebody
hey, what's
walking.
up? And nobody would walk all day.
Yeah,
absolutely. And to people that don't like aren't into wormholes and aren't into reading stuff and digging stuff like you and I are, I know that I'm my wife is not, right? Like she's just, but you know that she's simple. She likes to go to work, come home, eat some tacos,
she doesn't
go
like
to bed.
to think about those things.
She doesn't think.
Kylie doesn't like to think about those things.
It just doesn't occupy her mind like it does ours. Because I'm like, well, something. So I'm telling her,
I'm constantly deducing everything and turning things into things.
Adrian was like,
my brain does.
This is Adrian. She's like, okay, so people were in Dollar General. I go, okay, that's good. Where did they come from? There was no.
Where did the people with the sandwiches? Did they walk?
Yeah, I said
a mile to get sandwiches.
And I said, and how did they get hundreds of dollars worth of items before I could get a pack of batteries? First of all, they didn't exist and weren't in there. And now they've gotten $200 worth of stuff and gotten in front of me in line when I'm coming to get batteries. And then all their friends, the whole town showed up to come in. And then when I walk outside, everything is gone again. It's an empty lot again. It looks like a Dollar General. And if you drive by Dollar General at any time, it's 1 car there. That's 1 or 2, sometimes 3.
Well, after work, I'm sure people stop by after 5 o'clock.
So maybe there's 6 or 7. My point is, all these people were still in. Okay, if there's 1 checkout, right?
Right.
These people are filing in the door. Besides it, let's fuck the people in line.
Right.
All these people are filing in the door, right?
Where are their cars?
Where are they? And then they just disappeared into the store. Nobody ever got behind me in line. As I stood there for 30 minutes, I'm at the end of the line.
Nobody got behind you in line after they came in?
Yo, this is freaking me out telling the story. I'm at the back of this line for 35 minutes, Mike. Hey. All these people filing in. I'm like, what? And that's when my mind starts racing. What are these people? Who are these people? Where are they coming from? And as I sat there for half an hour, ask Adrian. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Ask Adrian how long I was gone.
That's
and I don't
crazy.
like cheat or run the bars or do anything. It's not like I'm creating this Dollar General story. No singular person got behind me in line in a half hour as 20 people came through the doors. Total simulation.
That's so messed up, dude.
And with that, y'all take that weirdness and I'm out.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all
Peace.
next time. Later.
See you later.
Oh, well, hello. I see you there, scrolling. I was wondering if you could just go ahead and follow us, the Know Nothings podcast. We got
banned
off of here and we had to start over. So do that. Thank you.
Banned.